So a while back, I shot a video on one of my jerky recipes that I make, and I was kind of going to turn into a series, and I just haven't got around to getting up another one. The first one was a low-carb, gluten-free version that I make for a friend that can't have gluten. But this one that I'm going to kind of walk you through today is my all-time favorite. It's kind of my go-to, probably 9 out of 10 batches. It goes with this flavor profile just because it's the one I enjoy the most. So I'm going to kind of walk through the process of how I make it and kind of do it step by step. So to start off with, I'm just going to walk you through the ingredients. The meat today is elk. I've used this recipe with deer, antelope, pork, chicken. It's all been good. So just some kind of well-trimmed meat, and then from there we're going to be using a little bit of all of these ingredients, and I'll kind of walk you through the proportions as we get our marinade mixed up. So as we get going here, I usually like to do all of my marinade separate and then add my meat. That way I get a good chance to mix all the ingredients together. So the very first one is finely chopped ginger. It's about a tablespoon. Didn't actually measure it, but looking at it, it's about a tablespoon. The next thing on spice wise is garlic powder. This is actually granulated garlic, I guess. I just had the wrong container, but a tablespoon of that. Then onion, same thing, that's actually granulated. One of those. And the last one is paprika, just plain old paprika, and a tablespoon of that. Right, the last of our kind of drier ingredients is salt. I prefer kosher just about for everything, but this is going to be 2 tablespoons. And then we're going to move on to our liquid ingredients. Okay, our liquid ingredients, we're going to start with some pineapple juice. I just happen to have a can that I was opening up because we're having pizza tonight, but a lot of times I will save this and freeze it. That's going to take 2 tablespoons. You don't want to put a lot of this in there because it will make your jerky more tender, but it'll also make it super chalky if you put way too much in there. So 2 of those. The next thing we're going to be putting in is some rice wine vinegar, also part of the tenderization process. Just 1 of those. Alright, the next one would be a teaspoon of sesame oil. And then any kind of steak sauce. This is kind of a generic A1, but 3 tablespoons of that. And then for the bulk of our liquid, we're going to be using some soy sauce, whatever brand you prefer. And this is a half a cup. And the last ingredient is just some teriyaki sauce. I haven't really found a big difference in brand. It's something that's not super thick. And I'm going with 1 cup of that. Now that we've got all of our ingredients mixed together, we're going to go ahead and just grab a whisk here and get it all incorporated. And just, 15, 20, 30 seconds, making sure that everything's all mixed in nice and all those dry spices are getting diluted. Now that we've got our mixture all incorporated with all the ingredients, we're just going to add the meat, and without splashing too much. Then you can just kind of basically use a whisk or your hand and incorporate it. You're going to want to probably stir this a couple of times. This marinade will be on this for not quite 24 hours, but pretty close, overnight for sure. And just kind of, once or twice, make sure everything is getting covered. And it'll be ready to go for tomorrow and hit the smoker. So it's been about 24 hours, and our meat's been marinated. I stirred it once last night and once this morning, and just once again got that all incorporated. So right now I've got the smoker fired up. If you don't have a smoker, I've used the same recipe in a food dehydrator as well as in the oven at real low temps, and it comes out just fine. But we're going to pull our meat out and we'll get it smoking. This is what it looks like after coming out of the fridge. You can see there's not a lot of that liquid left. It's all been more or less absorbed. And we're just going to get spread out on some of these smoking racks. So all I'm going to do now is just kind of spread them out. I want to leave a little bit of space around each piece, just make sure that the heat and smoke gets to them evenly. And get this rest of this tray filled up. So the last step before it goes into the smoker is I like black pepper on mine. And even though it's kind of a teriyaki, for some reason it still works. So just a nice coating all the way across the top of everything. And this first rack will be ready for the smoker. So our smoker is just starting to smoke. So I'm going to put these trays in. Once I got them in, I'm going to turn it to low. And just let them smoke nice and slow. We've been smoking for about 2 hours, just checking in on how everything's going. It's looking very nicely, starting to firm up just a little bit, so they got a ways to go, but got a good roll of smoke. Let them keep going. It's been about 4 hours in the smoker total. Jerky's just about perfect right now, so I'm going to pull it out and give you a little better look at it, and start enjoying some. So I just pulled it out of the smoker. It was in there for 4 hours. Turned out real well. It's still soft. It's got a good bite to it, where that little bit of that pineapple juice and vinegar makes it tender, so it's not pulling your teeth out when you're eating it. So I'm really happy with how it came out. If you ever get a chance to try it, it's a great recipe and pretty straightforward. So as always, thanks for watching. Have a good one.